One thing that I do like to point out, we just recently changed the website for the CADD community. So if you are going to what was the standard CADDcommunity.com, it's going to look a little different for you. It's no longer that login page. So we're highlighting on here many of the other elements that we're incorporating into our CADD community with our live events, our blog that is updated daily, our CADD Care Help Desk, and then the eTraining portal, which is labeled under here under Global eTraining. So if you do have CADDcommunity.com under your old bookmark, you can choose the Global eTraining tab, or at the top here you can do Global eTraining, or you can save the new bookmark as GeT for Global eTraining.caddcommunity.com. So for any of you that may have logged in and didn't see what you were expecting to, just make sure you update that bookmark or go to the Global eTraining tab from the caddcommunity.com website. So each of you are given a login name and password, and with this you can just go ahead and enter this in and have your computer remember it. If you signed up as a group, you may have done a submit enrollment key. So with that, you would use that enrollment key to create your own account with a login name and password that you'll be using every other time that you go to log in. So when you load up your CADD community account, hopefully your dashboard looks just like this. Now we do have banners at the top that are directing you to different popular tools or new resources that are hosted within the CADD community, talking about these getting started webinars. If you have any new employees in your organization that are wanting to get familiarized with the platform, they can register for that using the link. From here, we also have highlights of some of the more interactive elements that are now being hosted on the original caddcommunity.com. So here you have our live Twitter feed. As I said, we are really engaging our customers with our blog now and updating that, as well as our YouTube page for CADD Bites on a daily and at least weekly basis. So you can either get updates from that with the CADD Community blog link that's here in the most popular section. Once again, you can go to the normal caddcommunity.com, or you can click right on the link to the specific video or blog that's getting highlighted on that day. Now, if you aren't really sure where to start, you're coming in the CADD community, not clear exactly what you want training on, you can start in this content by industry section. We do have this really chunked out by specialty. So if you just want something involving civil engineering, you can open this up and it'll bring you all the different courses, tutorials, and resources that are engaging a civil engineering discipline. Now, hopefully you came into this portal with a little bit of an idea of what you're looking to learn. In that case, you are going to go to the Start Learning section. Everything in this portal has sort of multiple ways to jump around. So on this left side here, you have the My Courses box. That'll get you to the Start Learning, where you have the different sections of course types. And then from this toggle menu, you can also jump to My Courses. In this green toggle menu, you'll also find the Edit Profile button. If you were given a username and a temporary password with lots of letters and numbers and capitalizations that you might not remember, at any time you can go in here and change your password to something that'll be a little easier for you to log in with each time. So looking at the Start Learning section, and once again going into the My Course section, there are 3 different categories of courses and resources in here. We do have a My Company course section. We have the ability to load any tutorial videos or PDFs, any type of standards or training documents that your organization has put together we can load that into the My Company Courses section. So if you're wanting your employees to have access to that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at the same platform that they're using to get the rest of their training, feel free to reach out to me and we can work to get that uploaded into your own personal section, and that will be available only to the people that you want to have access to it. Now in here, with the two different companies that are providing content for this, we have the CAD Microsystems courses and Global eTraining. First thing, I will launch into the CAD Community courses, and these are all broken down into different sections. So we do have frequently asked questions and white papers that are available. We used to host our blogs in here, but as I had said, you can now get those at cadcommunity.com, or from that homepage you can click on the blog site. We have different content packs and data for AutoCAD. We also have a very up-to-date GIS data sources repository for you. In the instructional videos, we have lots of little recordings that are really diving into specific topics. So these 5 in 5s are 5 tips in 5 minutes. One that's been very popular lately is getting started with Bluebeam. That is a very popular tool, and we are getting a lot of customers asking for questions on that since it is very, very new. Once again, going through here, you get some more of that targeted type training, and these are as labeled in instructional video format. Also in those sort of tutorial recordings, we have events and webinars that are recorded here that you can watch anytime. Much like this webinar that I'm putting on today, we host webinars throughout the weeks and months. And if you are not able to make it at that specific date and time, you can view the recording here, and you have unlimited access to that. One of the most popular ones right now, and we also have a banner on the home page, is the Autodesk 2017 new features. And mine needs to be extended. But this will show you a breakdown of all the new features that are available in the 2017 software that's been released. So if you have the software and want to see what's changed, or if you're evaluating whether or not you want to upgrade to that 2017 software, that's a great way to see what's changed in Revit and AutoCAD and other popular Autodesk products. The other breakdown in here are our mini courses. So the full-length global eTraining courses that we're going to be looking at soon are usually about 50 hours worth of content. These mini courses are on much more specific targeted content. So these are usually about 60 to 90 minutes. Some very popular ones are these Revit Family Basics. But you can go in here, and these have the same interactive elements as those global eTraining course. They're built with the same tools so that you have tips and videos and exercises all mixed in, so you can get that full classroom type teaching experience. The last section in here are the applications and downloads. So we do have a lot of BIM tools for Revit. We have a Revit model checker, a model checker configurator if you want to set that for your own parameters. We also have things like our COBie extension and lead credit tracker, as well as OmniClass database. One thing that I'll draw your attention to, and we'll come back to it later, we do have the Global eTraining plugin for the CAD Community available in this My Courses, CAD Community courses, applications, and downloads. And that's going to be what delivers that interactive training directly within your Autodesk software. So going back to the My Courses section, we'll jump into the Global eTraining courses. As I said, we do have a wide variety of libraries, and depending on what your organization has you set up with, your view may be a little different than mine. Obviously, I have the full kit and caboodle in here. But where most of you will probably be spending your time is in this Autodesk course library. Once again, depending on what your organization is giving you a subscription to, it may look a little different. But for the full Autodesk library, you have access to all different versions of the course, including some Spanish-speaking courses and versions dating all the way back till 2010, just in case your firm or government branch is lagging a little behind. And we already have 6 2017 courses loaded into the system. So once you get into the course library, we do have lots of different flavors of these courses. It's not going to be just one AutoCAD or one Revit course. So keep that in mind. If you're looking at AutoCAD, there's a few that could be relevant for you. We have 2D, 3D, obviously the architecture, or LT, depending on what version you're using, and we have advanced concepts. So as you scroll through this, make sure you're keeping an eye on the one that's going to be most relevant to you. Looking at the Revit courses, we'll jump into the Revit architecture one today to take a walkthrough of how those course slides work. But once again, keep in mind that we do have Revit Families and a Revit Advanced Concepts course. So once you jump into the course, it's going to give you a little summary. As I said, these full-length ones, the Revit Architecture course is 55 hours long. You start with the learner orientation, which is really going to be familiarizing you with the portal. So if you're joining me here today, then you really shouldn't need to go through this, but it's great to have as a refresher. We have a data set available for you at the top. As I said, we do have those interactive exercises. So that is the data set that we're going to provide for you for those exercises, and I'll show you a different place to get that as well. We start out with highlighting the new features for this version. So if you are upgrading from 15 to 16, you felt confident with all the other tools, but you just wanted to see what changed, you can go through that new feature section. Then the course is laid out in the same sort of logical, sequential order that we would teach it in a classroom, familiarizing you with the user interface and starting off with projects and so on. So each one of these sections and topics is specifically labeled. If you are a new user with Revit, it makes sense to go through these in that sequential order. But if you're using this more as a reference tool, you can quickly jump to the topic that's going to be most relevant for you at that time. Now you'll see some of these have little exclamation marks next to them. That means that that topic is related to the Autodesk certification. So anytime you see that, if you happen to be studying for that Autodesk certification and want to make sure you've covered all the topics that you might be tested on during that exam, if you go through everything with that exclamation mark, you should have covered everything that Autodesk said you needed to know. You'll see some visual cues here if you've been through the class and you're jumping through this as a reference tool. Anything with a green check mark means that you have completely gone through that section. You do have unlimited access. You can attempt it as many times as you like, but just like to let you know you have been through it if you're trying to go through. The play button means that you've never started that section before. And this play pause means that you have started it, but you didn't complete it. So you can pick up from there. If you open the course, it'll leave off where you last worked. So right now I'm on the last slide because that's where I left off. So on the home page, we have a resume function. Once you get into the course and open that section, it'll resume where you were. So if you are jumping in and out while working on a project, it will not run away and get lost without you. So there's two ways that you can navigate through this course. I'll zoom in, make sure everyone can see here. We do have a side menu option. So once again, if you're jumping this in to quickly review a topic, you can jump to how to create walls. If you want to go through it in the more sequential order, then you can just use the arrow. So as I said, we do have a variety of interactive elements for you. You can either click on the image box, or if you click on the green bolded word, this will show you exactly what this is going to look like in the software. So once again, if you don't have that open, you can already get an idea of what it's going to look like once you do get in. In the e-tips box, we'll give you little tricks. As I mentioned, it does often give you the keyboard shortcut if you're more comfortable using that, as well as letting you know where to locate it on the ribbon. And in the Learn More content, it's an advanced lesson within that lesson, so you can jump through the little advanced topics using that arrow button. Now for these advanced concepts, maybe you're more comfortable with listening rather than reading. You can hit the play button.
As the name retaining wall type suggests.
And that will give you audio narration for all the text. Same as being in the courses, as you move forward through here, anything that is written in text is also audio narrated. You can mute that by Xing out the little sound button, or obviously if you have your system muted, then it won't play the sound. But as I said, this is really meant to cater to whatever learning style is most comfortable for you. So if you're more of a listener than a reader, having that audio narration can be very beneficial. So peppered throughout these courses where it's appropriate, we have two of those different hands-on elements. We do have e-demo videos. So once we've covered the topic, let you know really what you're doing within the software, you can open up the e-demo videos. Everything for this course is going to open up in a new window for you. So if you're either choosing from the course homepage or clicking on those e-demos or exercises, if nothing happens, just be sure to check your browser, make sure that you have pop-ups disabled for the CADD community. If you're clicking launch and nothing's happening, more than likely that's what's going on. So with these e-demo videos, once again, this is going to be an instructor walking you through all those steps that you had covered in the course content. We have volume that you can adjust on a scale. If you're in a place where you can't listen, or once again, if that's not your preferred learning method, in the top left-hand corner, you can hover over this and turn on closed captions so you can read along as the instructor is going through those actions. And we do have his pointer highlighted there for you, just to make it a little more comfortable to follow along with what he's doing. So as you continue going through these courses, usually towards the end of a section, or perhaps in the middle if it's appropriate based on how much you've learned, we do have these Let Me Try exercises. So this is where that data set that's included at the top of the course is going to be put to use. We do have it for imperial and metric. And what you do is open up the file that's related to that data set, and you go through and complete all the actions that are listed in this exercise, just to really make sure that you retain that information and are able to put it into practice. Now, although this is useful as a practice exercise, so you have sort of a safe environment to get any kinks out, as you'll notice, this is breaking down all the picks and clicks necessary to go through that task. I'm a very step-by-step learner, and this even has little hints and screenshots to show you what it's going to look like within the software. So even if you aren't using one of our practice exercises and you're actually going through a project doing the exact tasks that are listed in these exercises, you can use this as a bit of a roadmap to help you go through and make sure you're doing all those steps in the right order, the correct way. Now, if you ever have any questions, if you're going through an exercise and your result doesn't come out the same as what it was supposed to, or if you have questions about any of the concepts that are listed here in the text. In the bottom left-hand corner of your course is a question mark. When you open that up, that goes to our global eTraining help desk support page. We do have a frequently asked questions section where you can search through, see if anyone was wondering the same thing that you were. But what I really recommend is using the ticket system. So with this, you fill in your information, you choose the exact Autodesk software and version that you have a question about, and you can type in your conceptual question, or if it does have to do with an exercise, you have the ability to add a screenshot or a screen recording. So instead of trying to describe what may have gone wrong, you can actually just put in that picture. This help desk is staffed by certified Autodesk instructors. So the responses that you'll get back are going to be very similar to these exercises, where if you maybe did something wrong, took a wrong turn at one of those steps, they can really help show you what happened and give you screenshots and feedback on where to go to get more training on it and how to dig yourself out of that situation. Anything that you submit as a ticket, you'll receive responses from the help desk not only by email, but it'll be logged in your My Ticket system, so you can always go back and look through there if you run into that question again. Now, we do have people that like to use this, maybe not from a start to finish type of training, but really trying to get in and use it as a resource tool. So in this top left-hand corner of the courses, you'll see a black box called Resources. When you open that up, here you'll have our help desk support email, a roadmap for that certification prep, and then we also have those data sets again that are also in the top of the actual course. But two things I really like to draw people's attention to are the eDemo playlist and the Let Me Try exercises. So when you open this eDemo playlist, it may take a second to load. What it's doing is pulling up every single demonstration video that is included in that course. So if you aren't very comfortable going through the course content and text, or if you're just really wanting to get the demonstrations from those instructors, as I said, all of the videos in the courses are listed in these eDemo playlists. So you can jump to the demonstration that's going to be relevant to your project at that time and watch the instructor go through all the actions. We also have the Let Me Try exercise playlist. So if you're going to work through a certain task, or once again, if you're working on a project and just want that sort of roadmap guideline for how to best go through it, you can open up any of these exercises and it'll give you all the screenshots and the coaching necessary to complete that action. So this is one very popular section, as I said, for those more experienced users that are just trying to get a refresher. Now I'm going to direct your attention back to the My Course section in the CADD Community Courses, Applications and Downloads. This is where you get that global eTraining plugin for CADD Community. So how that works, once you download that, that will be listed in your add-ins. Once you open up a project, you just have to click on the little global eTraining add-in. Now what this does is it provides the entire course catalog that you have available in the web version within a plugin for your software. The different software that it's available for is AutoCAD, Revit, Civil 3D, Navisworks, Plant 3D, and Inventor. So obviously right now I'm demonstrating the Revit plugin. Just like you can jump around in the courses on the web version to get to a specific topic, you can do that within the plugin. You can jump either to the course slides or you can open up a demo video. Using the same login information that you use to get into that portal, you just put in your username and password and it'll open up the demonstration video or the course slides that are relevant for what you had opened up. Now this does function like any other add-in, so you can drag it to your second monitor, move it around the screen, wherever it's most comfortable for you. But one thing that I really think is the most useful part of this tool, no matter where you are, you can jump back to that catalog. But as you are working through the software, if I click on the column tool, it automatically responds and brings up column training. Once again, you can open up the course slides, you can watch a quick demo video, or you can go through an exercise. Even as you're working on these editing buttons here, that responsive element is going to keep changing to bring up the relevant training for you. So this is very useful as if you're using this as more of a resource tool and trying to get coaching as you're going along in a project. Now, if you're not sure exactly what you need training on and you want to look at one of the courses, we'll look at AutoCAD Electrical and see, do you need to go through the introduction to AutoCAD. We have mid-lecture quizzes and progress tests. They can be taken before going through the section or after. But these are a variety of true and false, multiple choice, select all that apply. As you'll see while I'm going through here, if you get the question wrong, it's going to immediately tell you what the right answers are. Obviously, that's pretty easy for true and false for you to guess, but especially for those multiple choice questions, it's good to know to keep teaching you. But once you submit these quizzes, they'll give you a score. I scored 40%, so I should probably close out that activity and go through the training. If you're going through these tests and quizzes and getting 100, you probably don't need to go through that training. But these are mixed in with the topics. The quizzes and the tests will apply to anything above them. So we do like to have those mixed in if you're using it as a gauge just to see whether or not you need that training, or after you go through it, whether you're doing the exercises or using the tests and quizzes, did you retain all the information that you need to? So as I said, that plugin is very useful. If you have any questions about how to get that or where to get that, please feel free to reach out to us. But for anyone using 2015 or 2016 software, I highly recommend loading in that plugin. You can always X out of it if you're in the middle of the project and don't have time to really look at the training. So as I said, what you have access to is going to depend on what your organization set you up with. If you see any courses on this list that you would like to have access to but may not already have within your portal, please feel free to reach out to me or speak to whoever manages your account, and I will make sure that you have access to the course that you need. Now, just to sort of run over some best practices for the eTraining, I really recommend for you to log in regularly. As I said, CAD Microsystems is updating their blog on a daily basis. We're always adding in new webinars and tutorial videos. And especially now with the 2017 courses coming out, there's a lot of new content that's being loaded into that portal. So log in, see what new resources are available, and jump around and see any courses that you may be interested in. And as I said, definitely utilize that plugin so that you can really get the most use out of having a reference tool there available to make you more efficient with the tool. Work with your managers to create a learning plan. There is full administrative reporting for this portal. So if your managers are requiring you to be active, or if they're trying to see where some trouble areas might be, where their employees are looking for training the most, make sure that you have a plan in place for how you're going to utilize this and what type of training you're doing, because anytime you get a little more lax about it, it's easier to lose that information. Identify your support team, whether it be your coworkers who are also working in here, or if you're going to the Global eTraining Help Desk. Really utilize those resources to get the training that you want. We do have message board functions in here where your managers can direct you to specific courses or sections that are going to be relevant for a project you're working on, or maybe something that your team is struggling with as a whole. Do set clear expectations for what you expect of your employees or from your managers in terms of activity or follow-up on what you're achieving in here. A lot of people are using this as a guide for new hires to make sure that they've gone through the full training. So be clear in what you want from your employees and what your managers expect. And if you're doing well in these quizzes, if you're really improving on your projects and performing well with the exercises, celebrate that success. Everything you're achieving is locked here in this portal, so don't let it go to waste. And stay motivated, keep it fun. We've got bright colors, we have lots of interactive elements. We have everything in bite-sized chunks so that you don't feel overwhelmed and like you're locked into that training. Really trying to make it interactive for you and help you learn at a pace that's comfortable for you and is going to make your job that much easier. So I know I've reviewed a lot in a pretty short amount of time. I'm going to open up the floor for questions. As I said, you have that chat function and you have that question box. So anything that you have questions about that you'd like me to show you, please let me know now. I got a question about the help desk support. So there are a few ways that you can get to that. As I said, it's a question mark in all of your course tabs. It's also in the plugin. You can click that question mark to get straight to the Global eTraining support. From that green toggle menu where you can get to your password change or your user transcript, we also have a link to support. You can email them directly at support@globaletraining.com, and that'll actually automatically open a ticket for you. Or if you're working with CADD Microsystems and have their help desk support, you can either email them or go to their help desk website. So like a lot of things in here, there are a few different ways to get to it. Looks like I had another question in terms of this webinar. I do host these once a month. So if you have a new employee come on, I will be going through this usually about the last Tuesday of every month. I do have a recorded version of this, and I also have a sort of PDF orientation guide that is sort of a screenshot version of this. So if you have a new employee come on or new users that get added into the portal and they don't feel comfortable using this, they can either attend a webinar, watch a recording at their leisure, or use that PDF orientation guide to walk them through a lot of these different steps. And you can reach out to me to get any additional information on that. I'll wait a couple more minutes, see if we have any other questions. One more question about the link. So as I said, that link did change. It's no longer at caddcommunity.com. So if you have that bookmarked, you can add a get.caddcommunity to it, and that'll get you to the login homepage. Or once again, from caddcommunity.com, if you do go there, you can click on Global eTraining here at the top, or the green Global eTraining box in the bottom right-hand corner. And once again, that's where you get to our blog and another way to get to our CAD Care help desk, as well as our live events. I don't see any other questions thus far. I know I'm wrapping up a little early, but I did want this to be very quick and instructional just to make sure you're getting the most use out of this platform. All of my contact information is up here. Whether you'd like to email me, you can reach out to me at Twitter, or you can call me directly. If you have any questions about your account or getting other users onto your account or familiarize with this platform, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I will stick around for a little bit longer in case any other questions come in. But thank you all so much for joining me today, and I hope that gave you a much better look at how to use our eTraining portal. Thank you.